Yo, what is up, everyone? So I had this customer come to me and say, hey, I've got a matrix. I'm like, everybody's got a matrix. I'm like, just calm down, Patrick. I've got a matrix with some products on the rows and I have months on the columns. And I need to pick a month from a slicer and highlight the corresponding month column and hide any products that don't have sales for that month. And the totals need to be right. And I was like, not a problem. And then when they left, I was like, oh, it's a problem. But in this video, I'm going to show you how I solved it. So, you know what I would like to do? Enough of all this talking. Let's do what? Let's head over to my laptop. All right, we're going to start right here on my report. And so you can see I have a matrix and then I have my slicer here. My slicer is a disconnected table. So let's take a look at the model view. And so you can see in my model view, I have dim product, I have dim time. They're both connected to fact sales, but I have slicer months. And slicer months is just a copy of my dim time table, just kind of trimmed down to just the columns I need. I don't like this formatting. You know how Alberto and Marco say it's not DAX if it's not formatted. So I can format this a couple of ways, manually or some other ways, but I want to use this MCP server that Martha is bragging about in her other videos. So I'm saying, can you connect to this PBIX and format my DAX for this slicer month? So I'm going to go ahead and see it's running the connect operation. Let's see, it found it. It's saying, all right, I need to verify. So it's grabbing some DAX for me. It found it. Yep. That's the one I want. It can see the DAX. It's not well formatted. Yeah, sure. Do it for me. All right, let's take a peek. Oh, look at that. It's nice and formatted for me. Great. So now you know what my model looks like. So the first requirement they gave me, when I choose one of these months, they want to highlight the row. How did I do that? Well, I created a little DAX. So we're going to go here to my model. We're going to choose highlight and let's look at the DAX. So the first thing I did here was from the disconnected table, I selected some values. I selected year and month. You may be thinking, well, Patrick, why year and month? Because I need to verify that I'm in the correct month. And then I got the month number and the year from the timetable. So from the actual table that's related. And then what I do, just in case the year isn't selected, you know, so I can handle this gracefully. You can change the logic if you want, but I'm assuming it's true. And then finally down here in the bottom, what I'm doing is if there's no month selected, just return blank. But then if there is a month selected, I make sure they match and I know my years match and it just sets up the color. And you can change this to any color you want. And so if I choose this matrix and we're going to go over to formatting and we're going to look for cell elements and then I'm going to look at my background color. And all I did was choose fill value and select that measure. With that measure selected, now if I choose March, you can see all of March is highlighted. If I choose April, all of April. If I choose May, all of May. So the next two requirements was suppress the row, hide the row if the corresponding month does not have any values for that particular category and make sure the totals are correct. Let me show you how I did that. So I'm going to switch over here and I'm going to go to my filtered sales. So we're going to go to filtered sales and expand this out. And this was a big measure, but it was fun to write. The first thing, I capture everything in my disconnected table and 0 means nothing is selected. Then I get the actual sales, but here's where it got fun. So I need to do my row level check and I probably should have put these in different order, but anyway. So the first thing I needed to do was check where am I at in the matrix. So this is where I use ISINSCOPE. It'll return a true if I'm at any one of these levels because I could potentially add any of these to the matrix. I actually created a hierarchy and tested it out. It really works. And then I need to see, does a product have any sales? So I created this virtual table and the remove filters allows me to look across all the dates. That was critical for me. And then here I created another virtual table to find the products with values. And so I did 2 remove filters because I needed to look at selected month regardless of the column. And then I wanted to do this at the total row. So there's still a filter here from the products above. And so without clearing it, I would only find the visible products, but not the qualifying products. And so I took care of that way. So I know a little involved and I'll try to make sure that the PBIX file for you is available. And please be critical of the DAX. I'm a little rusty on my DAX. It took me a little while to get this, but let me know what you think. All right. One more thing to mention, which was really important. When I built this top level helper out, I had to make sure that I did it from the product keys and the fact sales and not the dim product. Because you can see I put all these notes. I need the products that actually have transactions. And so I needed to make sure I I went down to my fact sales. And you may come up with a better way and more optimal way to do this. But then I had my return paths, right? So if there's no selection, return nothing. If it's true, return a row. And if its product level is false, return a total, right? And that's all I did. And so what will happen is if I choose January doesn't have garden tools or plot month. And you can see, right, it's 120,000 right here. But if I back out 5 and 15, this should go to 100,000. So I choose January, you see it goes to 100,000. I choose February, it stays at 100,000 and highlights February. But if I choose March, it goes back to 120 because March has garden sales and it should include it in that total. If I go out and select December, same thing, right? It gets rid of it and it just works. It was fun to get back and kind of get my hands dirty and write some DAX. I hadn't done that in a long time, so I'm so excited. So what do you think? You got any questions, comments? You know what to do. Post it in the comments below. If you want to learn more about Fabric or Power BI or all things Azure Data, there's probably a video flying above my head. And as always, from Martha, Adam, this guy, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.